तेजस्विनावधितमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम्। Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. How was the midweek break?
Slow.
Long.
Slow.
Slow. Now for those who may not have seen, Wednesday is a full working day here, so I'll be going to the office the whole day, but we have satsang on Saturday evening at 4:30. So Friday there is no broadcast. I know it's a bit confusing, but we'll get used to it. Friday is more informal. We just sit around, listen to some music, watch a movie, something like this. But Saturday we have broadcast, and many are very happy with this because those who work Monday to Friday then are feeling happy that we finally have satsang again on Saturday after many years.
It used to be only Saturday, no?
It used to be, when we started, it was used to be only Saturday, once a fortnight, once in 2 weeks. The only satsang was on Saturday. Are you here on Saturday?
No.
You booked your train.
Change the
Next time we... Questions, reports. All of you look so notionless to me. Is it that this outwardly is? And if this clinging is not there, if this conceptual grasping is not there, then actually we don't need to add any more words. Most of satsang is just in response to what clinging, what idea you're still holding on to. It's almost like you're falling into God, you see? But sometimes along the way you grasp onto some idea which could even be a spiritual idea. Even the idea I'm falling into God, it could be. That's why I said not much is needed to be said, because these are also attractive sounding notions. You see? So we can hold on to that. So most of the words in satsang is just to push you off these branches, allow you to fall into yourself. Rather than get stuck in any image you might be creating about yourself. And suffering is nothing but an attack on this image that you make about yourself. If you have no image about yourself, you cannot suffer. If you had no notion, no boundary, no idea about yourself, then what could be attacked? Even our ideas of how the world should be are based on the idea that I am an object in this world. Not well? Pain is still. Are you doing the physiotherapy now? No.
Doing exercise.
Exercise?
I mean, what Kari told. I'm going for acupuncture.
Acupuncture?
I'm going to start.
I see. Satsang also is a type of acupuncture. You're bursting the balloons of any ideas you have about yourself. But acupuncture is less painful at times than satsang. Because you we hold our beliefs like we hold our favorite candy. And no child likes to give up their favorite candy. Say, come closer.
Yeah, something's coming up for me just in the drama of life, and it's always it's now what's shaking is this identification with being good, because there was a kind of a situation where the me, did something and was misunderstood to be bad. It came from the heart. It came from compassion, from love, and it was misunderstood. And then tracing it back, it comes back to this huge identification with being good.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't believe I was good, then that wouldn't affect me in the slightest. And I see that, but there's something still shaking that's not quite clear. I don't feel like I'm quite in free flow, because although I can see it's a lie that I'm good, but there's something saying like, "No, you are good, you are good." You were saying yesterday was about don't go to the other
opposite.
Like, oh, I can be bad now, but
this is the thing.
And there's a lot of energy behind it that's shaking, and although I'm seeing partially, I'm not. Can you clear a little for me?
And the thing is that this is true for either position. I know more prevalent is this identification with being good, you see. But sometimes, have any of you seen these gangster movies? This young man comes, you see, and he's trying to become a made man. He's trying to become a gangster. He's trying to become part of the mafia, you see. So his whole attempt is to show that he's bad. And anytime the impression goes to the bosses that he is being good, it's a bad thing. They don't want to identify as good. You see? Good at being bad is good for them. You see? So that that is the image that we were talking about, image just now. This is the image that they hold on to. That only after they are considered bad enough, they get part of the ranks of the mafia. You see? So it is not that it is only on one side of the equation. You see? And that is why I was saying that once you see that one side is not true, don't attach to the opposite.
Yes.
You see? What does that mean? Nothing. You see? In the sense, if you are not good does not mean that you are bad. If you are not bad doesn't mean that you are good. You see? These are just inferences from the mind. You are beyond bad and good. You see, these don't apply to your reality, because it might sound strange to say, but everything is inherently just an expression of consciousness. You see? But how we label it, and you've seen culturally, you see, in some areas of the world something is good, but in other areas of the world, in some cultures, this exact same thing would be bad. You see? And people are very clear, no, it is bad, or it is good. You see? So these are just attributes that we give using the mind. That if I am this way, then it is good. If I am that way, then it is bad. You see? Now, why I keep saying don't go to the opposite, because otherwise we rest in the opposite position, saying that now I can just be bad. You see? It just I can just be rude to everyone who speaks to me. You see? And that becomes a new position. So most of us as children are conditioned with this sort of, you have to be good, you have to speak nicely, you see, you have to be vigilant towards others' feelings, this kind of thing, to the opposite, saying, I don't care anymore. And many times this is also labeled under, I'm just going to be myself. I don't care. You see, this kind of thing. So it has nothing to do with the self. It's just switching one image, because some pain came with that image, and then we felt like it is worthwhile to drop that You see? But trying to construct a new image, which we feel will not be as painful. You see? But because all imagery is ultimately not true about you, it is going to be painful. You see? In the design of this play, it seems that it is designed in a way that no lie lasts forever. You see? And it starts to become painful. Like I was saying the other day, the potato does keep getting hotter and hotter and hotter till you top it. This identity, no matter what the attributes of that identity are. You see? So I'm very happy to hear you speak like this and say that there's a impulse to try and like own the opposite of that, but to see that yes, this is what was being shared in satsang. It's neither this nor that, and that can feel like limbo or wobbly for a bit. You see, what do I rest on? You see? So what is it? Am I good or bad? You see? So when I say it is not applicable, it doesn't mean that it doesn't. I'm not making a conclusion of what you must try to be. You see? I'm not saying that you must try to be good or bad or even neutral. You see? Just see that none of this applies to my reality. None of this really applies. It only applies to identity. In Nietzsche, it was who wrote this very interesting book called Beyond Good and Evil. You see? And many misunderstood that. You see, again, in the same way as satsang can be misunderstood. And it felt like, oh, we must then, own our bad side or something like that. But that's not what he was saying, even in the book, the little bit that I have read of it. He was saying something similar, that these labels now are extinct. These labels are extinct because he was kind of hoping that humanity has crossed that traditional idea of labeling ourselves like this one, like that. But I don't feel like we have even now, although this must be about 100 years ago or 50, 60 years ago. So if we never had this condition about good and bad, then the mind can give you this fear, but then I can just be really bad. You see? When I was used to visit Ramesh, one of the most common questions that used to come to him was, because he would say that you are not the doer, everything happens through God's will. You see? But this was also often misunderstood, because the question he would get is, but does that mean I can just go around shooting everybody? You see? Or does that mean I can just lie in bed all day? You see? But it is not, what he was saying was not heard then. Everything that happens is God's will. And when you say I can go around shooting people, who are you referring to yourself then? You see? So it's kind of a you see, I was going to say dangerous, but not really dangerous, but very unfathomable to the mind what is being spoken. You see? So like Guruji says, this mind bypass, this way, something still being heard without it being understood by the mind. Because the mind says, what is this? So should I be good or bad? You see? And when you hear neither, you see, or both, or not applicable, the mind can't do anything with that. You see? Although it might try to own that concept, yes, I'm neither, or I'm both, you see, or it's not. It might try to own that, but it has nothing, there's no legs to stand on with this kind of thing, you see. Because it'll keep saying, okay, fine, so then now what should I do? Or how should I be? You see? As if it was still up to it, still trying to get that ownership of that. Now the funny thing is, if I say, don't be good, don't be bad, and don't be empty. Because I know the latest position now in Satsang must be like, I just have to just be empty. But empty is not trying to be empty. You see? What is left to say now? Like Guruji talks about trying to be natural. The minute you try to be natural, the naturalness is gone. Just be natural now. Yeah? Because it's not a position, you see. So, once you make it into a position, like emptiness can also be made into a position.
I'm feeling now it's just heat.
Huh?
It's not flip-flopping
Yeah.
from, but now
Yeah.
there's just a sense of heat.
Heat.
That's-
When this kitchen becomes too hot, you must stay in it. Usually in America they say the other way. No? If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. But this kitchen, when it becomes too hot, it's good to stay in it.
Bake that potato.
Because the other, were you reading a book? No, was it Letters from the Swampland or something like that, where the sage was saying that this, like neither this nor that, no position, not even empty as a position. You see, emptiness is emptiness itself. You see, empty is empty of even itself. You see, so this kind of thing seems very strange for the mind, and we want to run. He said something very beautiful. He said, because we are so used to resting in this nest of intellect, you see, when you're being pushed beyond your intellect, it can seem like, but this is too strange, too crazy or something, but this is the most auspicious. Where you're left without a conclusion, without a resting place for your limited idea of yourself. So all conclusions, even conclusions about emptiness or silence, and especially cause and effect, especially also cause and effect. Why especially cause and effect? Because we still make a conclusion about our inner openness, you see, and attaching to how the coconut seems to operate in the world. So, if I'm just so empty, then this can't happen. The same thing, I'll just lie in bed all day or something like that. These kind of ideas. And the best news is that the bad news is that if you were to try and not, or try and be empty of even being empty, you see, you would still not be empty. Still trying to be empty of even being empty. So that is the bad news. But the best news is that naturally all this is here. This is the best thing. That in this very moment, you're empty of even trying to be empty.
Can I say something? I've noticed that there's obviously the mind's version of what just flowing is.
Yes.
And actually so the mind is want and don't want, basically.
Yes.
Want this, don't want this,
Yeah.
don't want this. And then when life begins to flow in the direction of the don't wants, the mind tries to bring all this evidence to say, like, now you're doing something, or you're doing something wrong, or whatever. But all it brings is like kind of remolds of its wants and don't wants.
Yes.
And there's no evidence at all that actually there's any doership.
Yeah, exactly.
The flow is always infinitely broader than the mind's idea of it.
Yes.
And I noticed, I know it sounds quite obvious, but just how much resistance there is to actually, within the mind, to actually just be in that flow.
Yes.
Especially these sort of quite precious ideas about, what life looks like, even to be in satsang.
Yes.
Based on, activity or lifestyle or whatever
Exactly.
it is. I don't know, I just wanted to share
It's
that.
very
I don't
good.
know why.
It's very good. The mind resists any attempt to see that its version can never match what is.
Yeah.
Whether it is about the self, whether it is about life, about anything actually. The mind's version, even about a green coconut, is not a true representation of what is. So, but in part of its design, in a way, it resists this seeing. It resists this insight, and it says, "No, I do know. I do know. What you mean? I do know. I'll prove to you. See, this, therefore this. This, therefore that. I told you so." Is it like this kind of thing? The other day, another work colleague was telling me that how does it always happen that I felt like I should have done that, and when I don't do it, later I regret. Is it? And I said, if you really observe this, because our head is so full of ideas, you see, then every possible alternative actually comes up in the mind. But then when something works out that way, it conveniently forgets the rest and says, see, I told you should have done that, and you didn't do it. But you also said do the opposite, do +1, do -1. It also said, it's usually saying everything, you see. But it conveniently pulls out from its bag, you see. This, that I told you this to do this, you see. Like that. So it plays it very smartly. Also, many times I was noticing also there was a scientific study I read maybe 6 months ago where they said that memory works in a very convenient way to give you a sort of seemingly coherent story of your life. But these stories, and they did this kind of research. वो उसको दे दे गीता गया क्या गीता हाँ गीता को दे फिर बाकी मैं ले लूँगा. So these stories, so they did some research and they spoke to like young adults or people who are in their 20s and 30s. So they had a version about themselves, and then they actually validated this version with parents, others who saw them growing up, and and all of them are different version of that one story. You see? So it's very much like a version of our life, but it doesn't come close to capturing the entirety of what is, or even what seemed to have played out. But we just feel, for a while it can feel a bit uncomfortable to not have a clear version of past, because we feel like, what do you see, the testimonials in the world are, my past has made me what I am today, this kind of thing. But it isn't. Like, what they're saying is, my current identity is based on all the story I carry of the past. It doesn't sound as glamorous. You see? But what you are is never made by anything at all. No, especially no story.
And I think the reason there's that wobbliness, it's almost like a suffocation, it feels like a suffocation within the mind, is because like the mind only has ideas as its currency.
Yes.
That's all it can bring.
Only, yes.
So when you see through the ideas, the mind can't bring anything other than more ideas.
Exactly.
So it's like you can't reconcile that on the mental level. You have to see it from a truer position, and then like the ideas are totally not relevant.
Yes.
They don't make sense on that.
Yes. This is very good. Yeah, I like what you said very much. The only currency of the mind is ideas. Even when it is saying that now my problem is only energetic, you see, it is still this idea that this is my problem. Even the idea of what is energetic and not. You see? Because everything is energetic then. What is not energetic? To label something as if we know it through this currency of ideas, you see, is what leads to this trouble. There is no appearance, and all appearances can be called energetic in a way, you see, which are the energy of consciousness, the light of consciousness. But there is nothing that appears which is greater than the source itself, the consciousness itself. You see? So, only when you identify as something affected by a particular appearance, only then it can seem like it is too much or too strong, or you're suffering from it. You see? And that identification is only possible through the currency of ideas. I like this very much. Smile with you.
Oh, that's funny once. Like there was a situation, I observed something. I was laying in bed, it was like the last time I've been here. And then suddenly, I don't know where it came from, I just was cursing somebody, not even somebody. Like I'm like, whoa, what is this? You know, like
you're just cursing like without a reference.
Yeah, just like, you know, I'm like,
it's very Advaita.
No, I was shocked. I mean, I was peacefully laying there, and like it just came. And I'm like, okay. And then like I would have maybe like then I saw like usually we just attribute those thoughts to I am thinking, you know, I am a bad person. But they just came so much out of the blue that I'm like, whoa, okay, it's true. It's just I don't know it's coming, and then we can usually identify, or we're like, okay. So it was really
it's very good to see.
Very intense. And then other situation, like sometimes, you know, like you get thoughts and then somebody else is speaking them out. So sometimes I feel like I just have thoughts which are not mine actually, you know? And just seeing that more and more is also a release, because else it's always clear, so to speak, to us. We are thinking, we are this, but sometimes it's like so random that you're like, that's
how could it be? It just couldn't be. There was like the mathematical odds of that happening. And there's so many things, you see, and maybe we start noticing more after we start coming to Satsang, but there are so many things which are the probability of 1 is to like a gazillion or something, not even like a trillion. It's just so unlikely that it would just happen that you having that thought and those words are coming from another mouth. You see this exact same somewhere else, and not infrequently. It's quite often now that we notice these things. You see. So this notion of my idea, or it is coming from me, or I own it, is just fraud. You see, just made up. So good. I like this. Not only am I making any reference to myself, I'm also not making a reference to who I'm cursing. In a way, it reminded me of when I read Eckhart Tolle many years ago. He said that one day he saw this lady. I might be paraphrasing the story a bit wrong, but he saw this lady and she was just speaking angrily. You see? And people were saying that she's mad, or he was making a conclusion that she's mad or something like that. But then he noticed that it's not so strange, because what is usually happening just inwardly, now the mouth is just repeating that stuff, you see. So she's just giving expression to what every thought was saying most probably, and just going with that and saying it out loud. So this is the kind of babble that can happen in the mind. But in satsang, I've heard this a few times actually. Something just finds expression and you can't even find what you're fighting against, or what that whole thing is releasing is about. But I would say it's good to just have it out, like vomit it out. Sometimes when the mind is very and the more we want it to shut up, it can feel like so sometimes it's better to just say, okay, what you want. You see? It's like, what do you want? Okay, then he says, okay, then what else? What do you want? There's like, ask it a few times. You see? It's not as as bright as we think it is. Like, it is not endless. We feel like, what is this going to go on? You see? So you can try doing it. Like anytime you say to the mind, okay, bring it on, what happens for most of you? It just shuts up. It's just like, okay, bring it on. What do you got? Yeah? It's anytime we've played like this, we've said, okay, let's do this experiment, let's play this game. You expose every thought that you're getting. You see? Yeah? And then after 1, 2, 3, 4, now, see? Because it doesn't like the spotlight that way. It's like the whisperer, you see? He likes to be in the shadows, where you're distracted by the events in the world and your life, and he tries to whisper that message in your ear. He tries to play from the shadows like that, you see? And maybe that's why in these representations in stories and movies, it always has this, like the villainous, whisperer who comes, and like this kind of thing. Something is playing from that recognition of how this mind operates. Because just pure open sunlight, it doesn't lie. Hey, I'm just open. I'm just going to see everything that you say. I'm here, what do you want to say? It is like some try to give you some fear, something, some guilt, something, but try it for 10 minutes. Somebody just find 10 minutes and try. Just you don't have to try and stop the mind. This is why I stopped saying don't believe our next thought so much. You see, because it was misunderstood as trying to repress the mind or do something with the content of the thoughts appearing. You see, it was often misrepresented by the mind itself, saying, "Oh, therefore the thought should not come," or "there are too many thoughts, that should not happen." I prefer to say open now. Just read this.
Hello, partner.
Yes, my dear.
I'm Tara. Do you know me?
There you are. Hello. It's been so long.
Yes.
Oh.
Because I'm very free.
Because you got married.
I'm very free.
Very free, I see.
I have no account about this resourcing.
One sec, I'm going to mute myself, so maybe we hear you better then.
Okay. I cannot hear you.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm going to mute, so the bandwidth is not taken by what I'm saying, so we can hear you better.
Sorry, not good.
Yes, I remember, my dear. I remember. That's okay. So let's try like this. Are you in China?
Yes, I'm now in Xi'an.
I see.
The oldest city of China.
I see.
About Ananta-Part.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So this is my two friends.
Hello. Namaste.
They are very interested in your Satsang.
Oh, I'm very happy to meet you both as well. What do you?
Oh, the signal is not good. 没有。
China, do you say ni hao?
So want to ask question.
Yes.
See the thought of company about wood trade. Food. WOOD.
Food trade. You can come. Maybe you can understand them better. You can translate for me a bit. You made a company for food trading.
Wood.
Wood or food?
Wood.
Food.
No. WOOD.
Wood. Yeah, wood. Yeah. It's good. Wood trading is good. Yeah.
So now economic wood trade not good.
I see.
So things very painful.
Painful. Yes.
So 6 months after, how to go out of it.
I see. Okay, I give you an example. Yes? I give you an example. That sometimes, in fact, most times, these things are blessings in disguise. Everything actually is a blessing in disguise. You see? Blessing. It's a blessing in disguise.
Okay. I need to translate.
Yes, you can translate.
Okay.
Here also, I used to have this very big business at one point of time with almost 700 people. You can translate. Then what happened is, because of some business problem, we had to shut that business.
他说因为一些也是
But I had lot of identity about the business, so lot of suffering came.
但是还有很多的关系这种身份非常
You see, because it was something I always wanted to have a software business.
他对软件的生意呢
You see, but when this suffering came, then something opened up here to really look at what life is about.
但是呢，真的它其实机会让你开始内观，看究竟从什么生命
You see, before that, I was very sure of myself and life. You see, that this is what life is. You have to work hard and make lots of money. These kind of ideas were very strong.
他说突然发现我对人生非常有信心的，
But when I saw that I had worked hard, I did everything right, you see, and still these kind of things happened and the business had to go away, then I really started questioning what is the purpose of life, and more importantly, I started questioning who I am.
OK， 但是呢，尽管我这么还是我的生意还是非常所以我这个是看着要向前看，要向前看，那究竟意味着什么？就是那种反对，然后到最后来到一个问题。
You see, and as this questioning started, as I started questioning myself, what is life? Who am I? What is my purpose? You see, then I saw that life has a much deeper play than we understand mentally.
他说是开始问我的是什么？
It much deeper significance, more than our mind can understand.
我的
And today it will sound funny to you maybe, but maybe few years later you will also say the same thing. But today I am very grateful that all that happened.
他说我现在回看我这个
You see, because I found something here which will not go away with death.
他说是这东西会
You see, there is nothing in this world that you can do that is appearing that will survive your death. You see, this body's death. You see, there is nothing in this world. But when you find your true self, as you recognize what you really are, then you come to that which is unborn and undying.
他说是类似这样的，真实不是但是呢，在这里东西都没有。
You see, so we replace our attachment for something which is limited, which is going to go with time, and we open up. You see, and we discover that life is so beautiful when we are empty of attachments.
如果说你现在做一些他会助你做东西之后，当你向内看到， 生命。
Easy. But I can understand the pain that you must be going through right now from the memory I have of the pain that was felt here also. And for that, all,
就是
and and for this pain to get better soon, for you to feel light and open again, you have my full love and blessings.
他就是让疗愈
Yes, you want to ask anything more?
你现在放下。So she wants to ask if you can put down this the business to do it again.
Can you repeat, my dear? Can you repeat again?
If she can put down the feeling.
Put down what? Put down the feeling.
This feeling.
I see.
Your business will be good again.
Yes.
Business will be good again.
Huh?
I think it's-
Her business. Will her business be good again?
I think so.
Well, nobody can predict what will unfold in this life. You see? But I can tell you that if you let go of your attachments, you will never regret it. You see? And you will find joy in everything.
他说你跟你说的，但是呢，如果你下来，就是这个说的话，你不会看。
So we cannot say this divine play is so magnificent that we cannot say you might have much bigger business tomorrow or you might have a completely different life. Nobody can say. But you will be happy.
不是那你就明天就会但是你这里会快。So she wants to listen more about how you get out of your pain.
Yes. It is a letting go. You see, it is a letting go. And what is it that is let go of? You are not trying to repress feelings or push away anything. You see, you are not trying to say this is pain, this should not be there. You are not making any judgment. You are just completely open and allowing all these judgments to come and go, all your thoughts to come and go. You see, don't label as much as you can. Don't label anything. Don't even label it pain.
对，他的意思说，就是放下，就是不再对也感觉，让还要来去，然后非常条件，不给他标签，这个是怎样的，会。
You see? So, as you get open, as you become, it's good. As you become open in this way, you see, where you're not trying to resist anything at all. You see, you're just allowing everything to come and go.
就是敞开你放手感来的任何的就是理解。
You will see that all of this is very like popcorn.
你会看到这你现在的经历的一些东西，它基本上放在发言。
You see, sometimes just like that, big, sometimes little. You see, but you are just open. You are just allowing it to come and go. But if you judge it and say this should not be, or it should be some other way, then it will seem like it's really strong.
他说就是让他敞开，你不会给他认为说这个把这个。
There's a supreme intelligence which is taking care of this life, which makes sure. You see, it is on the same intelligence that the birds know how to fly, the trees know how to grow, this heart beats. You see, our heart is beating, the breath is happening, so many millions of processes happening in the body. You see, so that which is doing all of this is also taking care of our life. And if you trust that more and more, if you don't worry too much, then you will see that this will pass. Everything passes. This too shall pass. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So welcome, my dear. So good to see you. I know that when Tara used to join earlier, a few years ago when he used to come online, it was very difficult in China. In China, they would not be so easy to join Satsang, and he had to use proxy server and all kinds of difficult things. Now it is better because your quality of the video is good now. Yes, I see that.
Now it's using Zoom. Zoom is not.
Zoom is not blocked. I see. That is good.
But I can still get into YouTube.
You still can't get to YouTube. Yes, that is still blocked.
Can.
Oh, you can through some proxy thing or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
So good to see you after so long, and so nice to meet both your friends as well, my love. So good.
Thank you.
Very happy.
My friends, the pain is gone.
Repeat, my dear, your friend?
My friends, the pain is gone.
The feeling's gone.
The feeling is gone. Okay, that's very good. It's gone. But even if it comes back, it's okay. If it comes and goes, everything that comes and goes, let it come and go. Don't attach to even gone. Is it?
Okay.
Very good, very good. Okay, there were some other messages. Sending all my love to you, my dear Amaya. Thank you, my dear. I feel to say to all of you that I'm very happy with the reports I'm hearing these days. They're quite light, quite open. So I'm very happy that the essence of what is being shared, which is really not possible to do verbally, seems to be getting through in a way. All Guruji's grace. This doesn't mean, of course, that when you come, you only have to come with some light report or something. It's not a judgment like that. It's just the sense I'm getting in the Sangha over the past few weeks is that there's a lot more openness, there's a lot less clinging. And there's a lot of insight about even this subtle play of the mind and the positions it can tempt you with. Very happy. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Moji Baba ki Jai.
सद्गुरु श्री अनंता जी की
जय।
गुरु कृपा केवलम।